on Bucket List Expert. Bucket List Life's mission is to help you get off the treadmill, stop Groundhog Days, hack your habits, and live a regret-free life. Because we know life's way too short not to live your bucket list life. So please welcome your host, Trav Bell, the Bucket List Guy.
Hello, bucket listers. Welcome to another episode of the Bucket List Life podcast. I'm here with Pavle Luger. Mate, that is the best. That is possibly the most sexiest name I've read in quite some time.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hopefully my wife isn't listening. Oh my God.
Yeah. Pavle. Now you're up in which part of Canada are you in right now?
Hamilton, Ontario. Yes.
Yes. Is it like full on?
Yeah.
Is it snowing? Is it winter right now?
Or last week it was still snowing, -10. Today it's +10. So it's a big thing for the interview. You know, you get your juices, your spring energy flowing. So yeah. Excellent.
Mate, thanks a lot for being on the podcast. You're one of our illustrious certified bucket list coach tribe members, as well as also being a coach in your own right in a variety of different things, which we'll go into. But I want to know, and what I ask every guest is this question. When we used to fly back in the day, in these things called aeroplanes, and we used to land in foreign countries, and we'd fill out a little passenger card, to allow us to land, incoming passenger card. What do you put on as your occupation on that?
Well, depends on the country I'm going to, can be sometimes, how they see it. I remember once going to the US and I gave them like the 2-3 things I did. And he asked me but just put one, because they have it very structured. But what I usually put is language instructor, intercultural language coach, and I'm alternative healer. Yes.
Wow.
It's now lately it's been accepted, but when I used to travel a lot, it wasn't so common, like people say, and do you make money with that or that? But that's what I would put: language and intercultural coach and alternative healer, energetic healer.
Oh, wow. We're going to get into that. So before becoming a bucket list coach, what have you been doing? What have you been doing? So take me through that, because that's not a life coach, that's not a business coach, or it could be all of that.
This might be interesting to remember we work with flipped classrooms, right? That's a very, very recent concept, and I used to do it intuitively because I started teaching English, Spanish, I'm good at languages, German, but I didn't have an academic background. So you say, wow, what can I do? So I always look, because it was adult people, and you cannot go teach a businessman like grammar, that traditional high school, university thing, because it's boring and it doesn't get to the point. People just want to learn to use the language, to speak it, to get functional. So I always looked up for things like pictures, magazines, interesting articles, and it started working, and people liked me because it wasn't the corporate market. So that's what got me on that path. And then I realized in the end, I'm not teaching or instructing, I'm more like coaching, because depending on the person you're teaching, you have to adapt the material to her. So for example, maybe you're teaching a person to speak English for a presentation, and he's a computer geek. His English isn't good, but his English in computer science and programming is way behind. So I'm not teaching him that part, but just teaching how to adapt his knowledge and how to learn new words to be good at it. So it's exactly like coaching. Like, you've been a personal trainer, and depending on the level of the athlete, of the person, you start with basic training, intermediate training. You might use weights, or you might use body weight exercises, intensive, not so intensive. And that's why, I liked it. And you meet a lot of interesting people. Yes. And it's also intercultural.
What is your definition of a flipped classroom? You mentioned flipped classroom. Now, explain the flipped classroom concept.
Okay, thank you for
in teaching,
yeah,
in current education.
There's a concept. You don't start teaching, you go engage, study, and activate. So engage is like what we do at Bucket List. We find something that, gets the person's attention and motivated. Might be a picture, a music, a video, something. Now with multimedia, it's wonderful. You can do so many things. Once the person gets engaged, you maybe give her some concepts, some ideas. You do some group dynamics. So the people, it's like warming up the classroom, the group dynamics. And once they get there, then you tell them to study, but not, like studying for a test, maybe 20, 30 minutes. What they learned or what they interpreted, what they perceived, they applied maybe to a text, maybe to some game or something. What they learned or what they captured, they applied. That's the part of study. And then in activate, you again engage the group in different forms. I'm giving you a general order. So it's, but the important thing is you come with a lot of variety material. I always say, remember when you're in childcare, my baby now, I had a baby with 55. So now I'm daddy, granddaddy, and
you had a baby. Hang on. Stop the interview. You had a baby at the age of 55?
Yes. Yeah,
wow.
Now I'm feeling younger. Wow. Yeah.
Wow. How much energy and life does that bring to a old man?
Yeah. Just a joke. When before she was born, I was asking my wife, should I dye my hair so when she comes out, she doesn't freak like, oh, who's this guy with the white hair? An angel? Is that my dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Congratulations, man. I mean, that's
yes,
I didn't think you were 50. Number one, congratulations. And I didn't think you were 55. The way, like, your energy levels are not of a typical 55-year-old.
No, my goodness. Sometimes it's complicated because people think you're immature a little bit, bit. Yeah, okay. But you know what I mean. It depends. It's okay. I don't care. I'm happy. That's the important thing. That's what we do as bucket list coaches. But going back, and children have all these colors, all these games. And when we grow up, academics become very boring. So that the concept of the flipped classroom is very good because you can use colors, you can give variety, creativity, joy, which is now happening.
Love that.
Corporations are using this to motivate the employees. That's what we do at Bucket List. We give colorfulness, variety, creativity, freedom. We activate the inner child back into the adult, which is.
We do, don't we? It's really cool. When I set up Bucket List Coach, I did a lot of that. Now, who gave that really good TED talk about the flipped classroom? Oh, it's like one of the most famous TED talks, and it was around the flipped classroom. I forget. Can't forget his. I can't remember his name. But it was clearly showed that flipped classroom concept, which has been really adapted by a lot of institutions, a lot of educational institutions, and it really has flipped a lot of traditional education, on its head, hasn't it?
Yes, and it's good because it gives the people the opportunity to create their own educational process. Each person learns differently. So, also you've heard what we do at Bucket List Coaches. We use, especially with groups, we speak around. It's like auditive. We have pictures, visual, but we move around. You have to present your board workshop or your life plan. Sure. So maybe someone wants to start dancing and to personate. So it's, it gets you back into that lifestyle. You see how I'm a hyper, and it's just the motivation of doing it,
Yeah, that's it. Now, personally, what are the top 3 things on your reverse bucket list?
Well, just now, I started 1 year ago investing. I wouldn't say the top 2. The first one would be I became a tourist guide in Venezuela and South America. It's a part that's called the Guiana Shield. It's the oldest part of the planet. I think even older than Australia. Forgive me for saying that maybe we're close, you know.
I'm not about to debate you on that, but wow, you become
I'm
a tourist
joking,
guide.
about it.
Wow, cool.
Yes, and it's a very rewarding job. You didn't have to pay. You guide people. You're relaxed, and it's there where I also learned, because each time I go on a tour in the jungle, you know, you're with the Indians, with the natives in nature, maybe a lot of mosquitoes, some snakes, some piranhas, wild stuff, but you can handle it and you're present. And then when I came back to the city, I took the tourists back to their plane, you know, they leave off to their home countries. When I get back into the city and I saw the people in traffic, I say, oh no, I'm not doing that, you know, that 9 to 5, people in the car, you know, stressed out. Yeah, it made me realize, you know, I wasn't perhaps making a lot of money, but I was really enjoying myself. And I was realizing how, you know, the reality tube we have in our life, everybody has, you know, this career.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So you're originally from Venezuela?
I'm from Croatia. That's why I'm a little bit messed up. I'm Yugoslavian, you know. I haven't figured out. You have to smile, you know. Wherever I go, I'm like that, but that's the fun thing. It's okay.
I thought the big romantic story here would be, I'm taking people back to my homeland and I'm showing them where I came from and that sort of thing, and that's why I'm a tourist guide in Venezuela. But no.
No, but you know, if you live a long while and you're, you know, it's a call you have, you can be good at it, and you have to be good at foreign languages, you know, to present, to to highlight the attractions, you know. Depending, some tourists are good, some are very demanding. Yeah.
So
it was with Germany. Yes. Yeah. Wow. Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah. The other
the other two.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, I did once invest in 2008 because everything crashed. I didn't do my homework with fundamentals, lost some money. But I think I could do it. You know, if you're good, you can learn. I started again, and I made quite some money with crypto investments. I'm really becoming good at it, so I'm happy. You know.
We'll have to. And when did your crypto? I didn't know this about you. So there's so much I don't know about you. So when did you start crypto investing?
Well, as an intuitive healer, you sometimes close your eyes, take like a ground yourself and think what to be, and then some ideas came out, and suddenly you meet people online that are doing those kind of things that give you like additional advice, and now I can't complain, you know, I'm doing really good, you know. Like,
so you said you started in 2008?
No, I did it in 2008, and you know
when did you start crypto? In what year did you start?
1 year ago. Just 1 year ago.
1 year ago. Okay, cool.
Yes, I got back into it. I worked on myself. You know, sometimes we have beliefs. Oh, you're gonna lose money. Don't do this. You know. We're conditioned to play it safe. It's part of the coaching program we do. Get the people out of that comfort zone.
I was going to say, if you got into crypto investing or Bitcoin back in 2008, you know, we'd probably doing this interview on. We wouldn't be here. We would be doing this maybe on your private jet. So,
maybe.
on your, which lands on your island. Yeah.
yeah, maybe.
Oh, we'll have to have a conversation about crypto, as I'm also involved in some of that.
Just to tell you, there's shaman people doing crypto counseling. Shamans, yes. And from New Zealand, can you believe it?
There's hang on. So there's shamans that you know.
Shaman. He's a guy from New Zealand. Yeah. He's a neo-shaman, and he does conscious crypto circle. So he tunes into a coin and gets the idea what the coin is. We can do that later, but it's very interesting.
Dude, no, it's fascinating.
It's fascinating. And wow. Yes, think of this. The cryptocurrencies, you can't touch them.
No.
You can't print them. So
that's good though.
It's good though. So you have to have a lot of like good vibes and a positive mindset to get a feeling. Wow. Interesting. Shamans doing crypto. Well, there you go. I did not think we were going to talk about that today, man. 1 year ago, I also didn't believe it was going to happen, but there I am. It's unbelievable.
Here we go. Oh, one more thing on your reverse bucket list. What is it?
Oh, and you see me now, you have energy. I was a happy-go-lucky guy, like if you're a surfer, I used to be triathlete, but also a little bit of a booze man, drink a little too much, teaching English, too much parties, and I overdid it. And one day I wake up feeling really bad. I went to the doctor, said, "You're okay, mate." I said, "What's going on?" But I was feeling like a flu, and this started like 15, 16, 17 years ago. And I realized, I have chronic fatigue. What do I do now? You get tired. You don't know what to do. You go from doctor to doctor, healer to healer, therapist. But I didn't, achieve anything until I finally found someone who's an alternative healing. And through belief systems and working on myself, I got rid of it. And was just, that thing we also say, the fight or flight. I had it chronicle in me, I was always or fight or flight. So when I went to bed, still my mind was working. So I was never relaxing. I was never gaining my energy back, So then the stupid thing you do, you're so tired that you're like, "Oh, I'm tired. I have to do this and this and this and this so I can go quick and rest quick and do the other thing quick, which is nonsense. You know what I mean? It's the rat race in your mind, but you're tired.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Hey, what about the future? Future bucket list items that you want to do, that you've put out there for yourself?
Yeah, so a trip around Africa. I'm fine with North America, South America, Europe. I got enough of those guys with the good. I love them, but you know how it is, kind of to get a different experience of life. And build an eco lodge or an eco village where to train kids. No, never yet.
Awesome.
And then, yes, perhaps also buy a sports car. I think I've never had those ones. Never had, and it's
absolutely.
Yes.
Any particular model? What are we talking?
Something Italian, I think. So now maybe electric. Wait a couple of years. Maybe electric.
That would be nice. All right, cool. There we go. Awesome. So diverse. I'm so stoked we're having this conversation, man. Hey, so why did you become a certified bucket list coach?
Because I was certified before being certified. It was my lifestyle. I tell people because we look for experiences, although there's goals. And with the goal is like the wrap around the candy, but in the end, it's the experience. And I always say that. I realized I wasn't the best student. In university, sometimes you don't learn a lot. You get a degree, but you meet a lot of nice people, friends. You grow up, you stop being a teenager and become like kind of a grown man. Some men never grow up, Yeah. And then I decided, this is for me, because you can that energy you feel doing things, you can transmit it to other people, regardless of their age. And and it's also a thing that it's like, it's never too young. You're never too young, never too old to do a lot of things in your life, especially now.
And you are, what I love about you, man, is that you're such a living, breathing example of a bucket lister, and that you do a lot of stuff in the energy, with energy healing and in that space, and especially with that type of coaching. That transference of that energy, being 55, needs to be out there.
No, that was 3 years ago. Sorry, mate. I'm having my birthday now, 58. So.
Oh, so you're 58. I mean.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, if we put you into a lineup with other 58-year-olds, you're a unicorn. What we're going to do is get that energy out there and shared amongst other people.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what it's all about. That transference of energy is so, and that positivity. That positivity is so needed right now.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, people even are afraid when you're like that. It happens to me a lot. I go to a store and what do you want to buy, sir? And they're very formal. I say, oh, this, and I joke. I try to give them some, a little love, not too much, so they don't feel overwhelmed. But I do believe that's the way to go. Have people, it's.
But there's a very serious part of you too, like a very caring and structured part of you as well. And so what's the other kind of coaching that you've been doing?
Oh, I used to work as a part-time or personal trainer because I used to do triathlons, and I always liked sport. And the funny thing is, I want to mention that I didn't do as good as I could because I was too much into drinking and got the chronic fatigue. But then I learned to have a lifestyle that you train regularly without overtaxing yourself. Because you see, I have energy. Now, if I would have gone like, oh, I'm going to train for an Ironman, and I would have cycled 2 hours and took a 1 hour run, right, to be ready for an Ironman. I wouldn't have the energy. I would be like, hey, Trav, is the interview ready? You know what I mean? So I realized that as human beings, we have a certain amount of energy available that we need to really manage like a businessman. Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't do that. You know, I always joke, you know, young people should live like old people, not party too much, take it easy now. And old people should get a little more younger, enjoy themselves, not take life so seriously, you know. So we have enough energy to do all the things we want to do in life, you know.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
So I'm personal trainer. Yes, I learned that. And I've helped quite a few friends, you know, especially we can mention that later in your other questions. Yes.
Yeah, cool. I mean, what's a great example of how you've helped someone, you know, with the coaching?
Okay, one trainer, there was this guy, and I was preparing him to like a triathlon, and he was like a little bit not secure. And I said, you know what? Whenever you're training, train for yourself. Don't compete while you're training. Fix on your plan, keep that plan, and when the competition comes, do your best. Because you know that there's always, you have that in gyms, wherever you go, there's guys, you know, like showing off, you know, like we call them verbal athletes. They even brag about all they do, but they burn themselves out, or you didn't see them in the competition. Because while you train, you pace yourself. And this guy, he was his first triathlon, and he's so good. And he was thankful to me because I said, well, because all we did while practicing was the correct thing. And he couldn't believe it, you know, and the guy didn't even have the best equipment. He didn't have, you know, he was of a middle class means, and he was so happy. And there was all these guys, you know, with best bikes and best things. And he performed better due to that, doing his thing for himself, like we do at Bucket List Coaches. Don't compare your list, your achievements, your goals to anyone. Just look for what you're feeling, what you want to do in life, how you're feeling, you know. Go with the heart, enjoy it, enjoy the ride, enjoy the training, you know. Overtraining, overdoing things is not good, yes.
And that's a big one, isn't it? Like, because, you know, when we go out there and we do our corporate programs, we're always constantly saying, look, don't compare your list to other people. And by the way, this is not just, and when we go out and do programs, it's not just, you know, going and writing a list, because a lot of people think, oh, why do I need a bucket list coach? I can just go write a list and go doing it. But a lot of people just don't, right? Yeah. So, but it's not about the list. It's about how a person, a company, a team, a parent, you know, a couple, and more importantly ourselves, reverse engineers every aspect of their lives in order to make this stuff come to fruition. It's the growth of them on this journey towards these self-imposed destinations, right? But it's more about the person that exists on the other side, and this is the person that we don't know yet, right? And that's what we love collectively. What we love, helping people get curiously excited about what exists on the other side. And this is the person, the bigger version of them, the results of the company, you know, the results of a couple coming together. What else can you do? Who else can you be? The fact of the matter, right, and we've talked a lot about this in our trainings and stuff, that people are dying at 40 and being buried at 80. There's a lot of people that just give up. There's a lot of people where they go, you know what, I've got the kids, I've got the mortgage, I've got maybe the sports car, who knows, and they have a midlife crisis.
It's part. The car is part. because it's big insurance. I don't have time, you know, like.
Yeah, it's all these, and they are excuses, you know. So a lot of people are living by default, not by intentional design. They're living, you know, and so we want to help people, you know, not just exist, but live, fully live.
Yeah,
that's what it's about, right?
Experience to the fullest.
Yeah, man. So we're kind of like, I guess, when we go into companies, even with individuals, you know, we're kind of like a compass, you know, helping people realign with what makes them happy, what gives them fulfillment, what gives them meaning in life, you know, and how they can find more gratitude at the end of the day. And that's what's beautiful, when the lights really go on for people and they feel alive again. Mind you, this might be just icing on the cake, some of this stuff, you know, for other people that have got it kind of together. But for a lot of people, we're waking a lot of people up to go live their bucket list before they get given a use by date. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And so what's, in your view, why do you love being a bucket list coach? What's something unique or different about our processes?
Well, you know, you get the chance up, and you can like even do it in a fun way. You know, there's so many people that have this structured view of life, regardless of the job, of the social status, of their sex, of their age. And when we do that, we kind of, you can tune them into that change. You know, you kind of, I would say, I'm now speaking really from deep, you know, you tune into their undiscovered or repressed, like I mentioned, say the inner child, you know, because our system, the education system worldwide, you're not even graduated with 18 and they're already thinking, find a good job, get a good salary, and start paying your rent, your retirement. My goodness, you know, I started to think, you know, when I was young and I would see a guy with gray hair, I don't want to be like that guy. I don't want to be myself, you know. Like, I wasn't going to be like that, but I realized, and I remember even I said, whoa, how can I stop this going to university? Or how can I, you know, like play, or, you know, sometimes you even, I wouldn't say lie to your parents, but you try to play a game so your parents understand it, because, you know, they want you to follow the path to safety. Because if you see the history of the world, humankind has suffered so much. They're always doing things to prevent us from suffering. It's like having the brakes on, you know, like having the brake on and then putting the gas and the pedal. But we don't allow ourselves to, you know, not that we allow, yeah, exactly. We would say not allow, but we don't let go. We don't release it. And now that I have my baby, when I see my baby running towards a candy, you know, she does it with so much joy. And my wife says, you're spoiling it. No, I'm teaching her to be free, to be independent, to enjoy. That's what we have lost. That's what we have to do. Obviously, we're not going to be children, but that's what we do in our process. We help people find out, oh, but there's so many things I have done I didn't even know, you know, especially when you go with the reverse bucket list. Oh, I helped someone. Oh, I did this. Oh, I remember when I, you know, sometimes people, I wanted to be a model, I want to be an actor. Okay, you don't have to go back going an actor, but you can do a play, you can do certain things that suddenly make you become that person that has so many talents. We always talk business multitasking, but not about, which I consider multi-purpose, variety, multi-talents, everything, you know, very diverse. You know,
it's really interesting. You know, one of the most common things I hear is from people who do our programs. I've heard this so much over the last 10 years of being the bucket list guy. It's crazy, right? And they say, and I quote, "Thank you for giving me permission to dream again."
Wow.
Like,
Nice.
whoa, what happened? What's happened? You know, thank you for allowing me, and when we do our programs, thank you for allowing me to take time out of my life to work on my life. Because we're so busy, aren't we? We're so busy being busy. It's like this weird badge of honor that we carry around with us. So when we do our programs, and for anyone watching out there, when we do our programs, it's about separating the daily to-do list from the bucket list and concentrating, putting our attention on that, attention and intention behind it. And then you watch people come alive. It's absolutely amazing, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
But I love how you explain that. It's allowing people to be that child to a certain extent, like to
childlike, not childish.
Childlike.
Right?
I'll go child. I'm childish. So
I'm too. I'm still figuring myself out,
Oh,
That's
aren't
the
we
fun
all?
thing.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. So what would you say the benefits of the bucket list programs are in your view?
Okay, I wrote these down because there's so many, Let's see some of them.
Yeah, right. I'd love to hear them.
Yeah, yes.
And I've got no idea what you're going to say. So this isn't scripted.
Yeah, I know about the variety. I mean, just think, because each person, each profession, each career, actually, the word career in some languages means race. So it's the professional career. So a lot of people are just racing in that, that trying to achieve something in the professional life, and they forget about other things. Going back to that, there's so many areas where people can do things they have never done. The variety, for example, a person who's like, even in sports, okay, you do long distance sports, going on something like ping pong, and you see, oh, you're tough, but you see how clumsy you are with the ping pong, because it's a sport of reflexes. Or the person who's very good at strength, okay, now I want you to see walking 2 hours, how you get them out of the comfort zone, and suddenly they realize, oh, I feel weird, but at the same time, he's seeing that he can do it. I since a young age, I've tried to be ambidextrous. I don't know if that's good or bad. And I realized how useful that is. So we go into the variety, and also it's like multi-purpose. You can have multi-purpose. So it's not only the purpose on the spiritual level, the purpose on the professional level, purpose on the family level. There's so many areas.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're so
and the
right.
The group dynamics, I would say. Group dynamics is so important as a teacher, I can tell you, because you're not perfect as a coach, but then some person mentions something, you include it, and you can, and it helps to activate the whole group. It's like good team sports. Some teams have all stars, but they don't work together because each of the guys wants to be the best. Whereas other groups, you have people who have this synergy, and then you create wonderful experiences. That's what one of the wonderful things about the bucket list, because it's not, most coaching programs are made for like in a profession or staff, their target and specific goal, whereas ours is life. Go crazy in life. Come on.
Yeah, well, I mean, we say a bucket list is a tangible life plan, and it's very individual, where our career plan or our business plan should fit into our life plan and not be the other way around. So it really brings home that work to live principle. But the cool thing about doing these programs within the team at work or at the business, the company, is the fact that it breaks down barriers. Everyone sees each other in a different light. They match each other on a different values level, on a heart-to-heart level, exactly. And they have conversations that they'd never ever have. So we've got baby boomers talking to Gen X's and Gen Y's, and millennials talking to the X's and the Y's. And they're all like, well, you want to surf and I want to surf, and I know we're not the same level in the company, but let's go surfing together.
Yes, of course.
It's as simple as that. But what is unearthed within the group is extremely powerful. And we've got another thing called the Ticket Club, and that's like when we set up a calendar of events based on the things that are unearthed in the different programs. And it can be an incentive program as well for maybe sales managers and CEOs. So sales managers, to drive incentives within the company as well. But I love what you say, and the variety and the group dynamics, and that's what it's all about. The sharing and cross-cultural. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that
it's like I say, it's kind of a meeting, integrated with a party, but without the drinks. Well, you never know. Maybe some in the future you have some drinks too, right? But
maybe not too many, not too many.
Not
Hey,
too
so
many,
tell
yeah.
me, so tell me, Matt, like in your view as well, what are sort of like the three biggest problems that the programs solve in your view?
Well, they make people first become aware how they have, we could say, self-sabotaging themselves unconsciously or subconsciously. Most people we have that program, how things have to be, and it's not like that. Then second, by that, they also realize they be living in a fear that doesn't exist. Fear is said, false expectations that appear real, but that's not true. I mean, saber is not going to eat you, like they say. We still pray the tribal program. And the third is that it's never too early and never too late for people to do something. Okay.
True.
Some people think, I'm putting that on my video. We stop dreaming because we enter into that kind of formal path. And then it's like the traditional thing that work hard, make a lot of money, sometimes not even a lot of money, but enough money to retire. And then you kind of go to and kind of live a certain bucket list of travel. But then you think, oh, it might be expensive. I'm too old. I'm too tired, because you already been carrying that program, that inner program of safety, of fear of something happening. As you mentioned, we're dying at 40 and living until 80. The Turks say a man works 40 years hard and then spends all the money he earned the next 40 years. It's a thing all over the world. Yes. That's the problem they solve. They make people realize, it's about you. It's about tuning into yourself. The biggest problem.
Yeah, wow. I love that.
Them to become aware of themselves and stop limiting themselves. I'm going to give you an example. Look at Mick Jagger, and remember the guy they called him like they're the bad guys, the satanic guys. No, they just was authentic with his energy. And then you see some of those pop stars that are younger than him, that look nice, and suddenly this guy died, like so many. And I say, what's going on? I say, well, that guy's like the real deal. He's authentic themselves. The others, might look great and nice, but you don't know what's going within them. Yes. Yeah,
100%. I love that. So, look, I ask this of every guest, and imagine a stadium full of people, Pavle, and imagine a stadium full of people, right? And you're up the front. You're up the front with a big stage and a big booming microphone and big speakers. What would you love to say, and who do you choose to be in the audience?
So what would I say to all those people there?
And who do you choose to be in the audience?
Like, I'm like extrapolating, being someone who's listening to me, kind of like, like a doppelganger or something. Okay, that's a philosophical question for a guy of me, No,
that's fine. What would you love to say first? What would you love to say to people?
Remember your teenager. Remember your teenage years, or pre-teenage to teenage years.
Yeah,
that's what I would say to anyone, and especially to guys my age, or people who kind of have the structure, because our whole educational system is based on grades and on ages. But that, like in Athens and in the antiquity, when there was this wise guy spending, anyone could enter, regardless if you're 12 or 22 or 52, right? Because what's the good about the teenager? He's maybe reckless, irreverent, but he's curious, and he always jumps up. Actually, one of the things you can mention, certain societies are like that. You bounce back because you're always looking for something new. You don't care. You don't look back. You just go. It's the part of the programs we do, Conquer Fear. I wouldn't say it's Conquer Fear. You don't realize there's fear there, but you go for the things. So remember that teenager you have in you, but with the wisdom of the mature person. Yes. Actually,
wow.
Yes, we should, I want to give you a good joke here. I have a couple of friends in Venezuela where they were my age, and we always joke, hey, what teenage phase are you? Are you in the 5th teenage phase or the 6th teenage phase? Because, you don't want to give up that teenager, that happy guy that jokes, that enjoys being with other people. You don't want to get serious. And they always think, grow up, be a man, mature. But when you mature, what happens with a fruit that matures? It drops in the soil and, rots and gives birth to another tree.
There's a metaphor. That is a good metaphor. That is a good metaphor. I like that metaphor. Yeah. So no need to mature. No need to mature. I mean, having when we go and run programs, whether it be within companies or publicly, as you've done, it's about having fun, but it's very serious as well, because this stuff, like especially for employers who want to be an employer of choice, who want to attract and retain good talent, you've got to be a place worth hanging out in. You've got to be a place that's got good energy, right? And that's why people stay. So it's not about, we don't go into companies like as we don't go into companies, go, okay, everyone go and live your life and go and travel the world. And then everyone leaves the company. It's not about that. It's about helping people have more meaning, more purpose, more fulfillment within that organization. Imagine the impact that has on culture, on things like mental health, on the happiness, on the the retention of good staff, on engagement, which is the big one. If you're engaged in life, if you're engaged in your bucket list, it has a direct domino effect into how engaged you are at work, or if you're running a business, the same thing. And so it's a mix of all that stuff. And what's really cool is with you, Pavle. I don't think there's any better coach to go coach a group, because you live this. You really do live this, and your energy and your happiness is contagious in a great way.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I think,
thank you for that.
And I think our coaching group, our bucket list coach tribe is, we're super grateful for you, man, like for being who you are and the adding of energy that you do. I think it's,
and I'm grateful for you guys, to have found you. I applied to quite a few coaching jobs, and it's not so. It wasn't the same.
Man. Look at. Yeah, I think. So look, I've got your website up here too. Let's just put that on, and this is how people can connect with you. So let's just. I'll just find that and then put it up here. So this is your website right here. And what about on the socials? How can people connect with you on social media, Pavle?
Oh yeah, I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm not so much of a. Not that I don't want to, but I don't want to get overwhelmed. But on LinkedIn, but I'm on Facebook. But I'm a guy like, I'm waiting for the pandemic to be over to get live and crazy with people doing group things.
Love it. It's a bit hard. It's a bit hard to do it through a screen all the time, isn't it?
Yes, and you know what happens? There's a saying among trainers, cultural trainers, you cannot not communicate because there's non-verbal language. Both you and me, we do a lot of, and we're lively guys, but sometimes people aren't. And then in addition, if they don't just see their face, you can't really fathom what perhaps is going on, But when you have people, you can see by their eyes and you can really, connect to them. Once you connect to the person, it's done. There is a new bucket list guy, enjoying life. and bucket list lady.
That's it.
Bucket list guy, bucket list lady. Bucket list ladies, that's what we are. Bucket list Amazon ladies. There you go. Warrior Amazon ladies. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, man, I tell you what, this conversation has not been boring at all, man. I really love it. And once again, I want to thank you for being part of our tribe, and thank you for spreading, our good energy out there in the world. And just thank you for your time today, man. Like, I really appreciate it, and I'm glad we've had the opportunity to have a more lengthier kind of conversation. So thanks a lot. If anyone wants to get in contact with, Pavle, please do. There's the website on the screen, and obviously contact Pavle on his social media as well. Even though he doesn't want to be overwhelmed by all the other social media stuff out there.
Yes.
But,
go ahead. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
No, all good. So, thank you once again. So we'll end it there. And, guys, bucket listers, thank you for tuning in once again to the Bucket List Life podcast. I'm your host, Trav Bell, the Bucket List Guy. And until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, leave a review, and more importantly, give your feedback on what you've learned. And please, in the comments section, that'd be great. So until next time, thanks a lot for tuning in. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
Thanks so much for listening to the Bucket List Life podcast with the world's #1 bucket list expert, Trav Bell. For more great content, go to www.thebucketlist.com.